Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. Trust life, and it will teach you, in joy and sorrow, all you need to know. You have to decide who you are and force the world to deal with you, not with its idea of you. It is astonishing the lengths to which a person, or a people, will go in order to avoid a truthful mirror. We are responsible for the world in which we find ourselves, if only because we are the only sentient force which can change it. Anyone who has ever struggled with poverty knows how extremely expensive it is to be poor. Talent is insignificant. I know a lot of talented ruins. Beyond talent lie all the usual words: discipline, love, luck, but most of all, endurance. I am what time, circumstance, history have made of me, certainly, but I am also much more than that. So are we all. People are trapped in history, and history is trapped in them. Ignorance, allied with power, is the most ferocious enemy justice can have. The world is before you, and you need not take it or leave it as it was when you came in. To be a Negro in this country, and to be relatively conscious, is to be in a rage almost all the time. Freedom is not something that anybody can be given. Freedom is something people take, and people are as free as they want to be. One cannot deny the humanity of another without diminishing one's own. Every human being is an unprecedented miracle. People pay for what they do, and still more for what they have allowed themselves to become. And they pay for it very simply, by the lives they lead. People can't, unhappily, invent their mooring posts, their lovers and their friends, any more than they can invent their parents. Life gives these, and also takes them away. And the great difficulty is to say yes to life. Money, it turned out, was exactly like sex. You thought of nothing else if you didn't have it, and thought of other things if you did. No one can possibly know what is about to happen. It is happening, each time, for the first time, for the only time. I have always believed that you can think positive just as well as you can think negative. The world is before you, and you need not take it or leave it as it was when you came in. Nobody is more dangerous than he who imagines himself pure in heart, for his purity, by definition, is unassailable. Please try to remember that what they believe, as well as what they do, and cause you to endure, does not testify to your inferiority, but to their inhumanity. When one begins to live by habit and by quotation, one has begun to stop living. The most dangerous creation of any society is the man who has nothing to lose. People can cry much easier than they can change. The noblest spirit is most strongly attracted by the love of glory. People who shut their eyes to reality simply invite their own destruction. Pessimists are the people who have no hope for themselves or for others. Pessimists are also people who think the human race is beneath their notice, that they're better than other human beings. But the relationship of morality and power is a very subtle one, because ultimately, power without morality is no longer power. There are so many ways of being despicable, it quite makes one's head spin. But the way to be really despicable is to be contemptuous of other people's pain. The questions which one asks oneself begin, at least, to illuminate the world and become one's key to the experience of others. We have all had the experience of finding that our reactions and perhaps even our deeds have denied beliefs we thought were ours. If you're treated a certain way, you become a certain kind of person. If certain things are described to you as being real, they're real for you, whether they're real or not. It took many years of vomiting up all the filth I'd been taught about myself and half believed before I was able to walk on the earth as though I had a right to be here. Know from whence you came. If you know whence you came, there are absolutely no limitations to where you can go. The place in which I'll fit will not exist until I make it. Fires can't be made with dead embers, nor can enthusiasm be stirred by spiritless men. Enthusiasm in our daily work lightens effort and turns even labor into pleasant tasks. Those who say it can't be done are usually interrupted by others doing it. You cannot fix what you will not face. The young think that failure is the Siberian end of the line, banishment from all the living, and tend to do what I then did, which was to hide. The price one pays for pursuing any profession or calling is an intimate knowledge of its ugly side. The purpose of education is to create in a person the ability to look at the world for himself, to make his own decisions. It is very nearly impossible to become an educated person in a country so distrustful of the independent mind. The paradox of education is precisely this, that as one begins to become conscious, one begins to examine the society in which he is being educated. All art is a kind of confession, more or less oblique. All artists, if they are to survive, are forced at last to tell the whole story, to vomit the anguish up. The primary distinction of the artist is that he must actively cultivate that state which most men necessarily must avoid, the state of being alone. Be careful what you set your heart upon, for it will surely be yours. You don't realize that you're intelligent until it gets you into trouble. I can't believe what you say, because I see what you do. People who treat other people as less than human must not be surprised when the bread they have cast on the waters comes floating back to them, poisoned. Nothing is more desirable than to be released from an affliction, but nothing is more frightening than to be divested of a crutch. It was books that taught me that the things that tormented me most were the very things that connected me with all the people who were alive or who had ever been alive.